So what makes Crestron different? There are a lot of different brands out there. What makes Crestron stand out from the rest? Well, Crestron is the only brand that can say that we engineer, we manufacture, and we support the full spectrum of your intelligent home. So that's your lighting, your shades, your audio, your video. We interface with your security systems and also your HVAC. So because of that, because everything is made to work together, everything is speaking the same language, that scalability, that deployment, that reliability is all there for you and for your homeowners. Especially in the luxury department, you don't want to integrate any systems that are really just going to give them that less than pleasant experience. So we are able to deliver that because we do the full spectrum there. We are showcasing Crestron Home. If you've worked with us in the past, maybe 10, 15 years ago, you know that it was really heavy on that custom programming. There was a lot of custom programming. It was inconsistent between which dealers you were working with. So we really addressed that. We really took all of that feedback from all of you and from all of your homeowners that you work with and really redesigned this system. So Crestron Home is our newest platform. It's about 3 years old, but we didn't stop there, with just introducing it. We actually do quarterly updates, and I don't mean just like bug fixes. These are integrated partners that we are adding on to this ecosystem that we've created. So you'll see a lot of innovations with Crestron Home. Again, it was redesigned from the ground up. You'll see these interfaces here. These are the real interfaces that you would be working with. Very simplified, easy tile, interfaces so that you can easily navigate through the system no matter your level of comfort with technology. It's easy to configure and easy to deploy. So we're talking about your integration specialist that you work with. That deployment, those labor costs that used to be associated with custom integrated technologies, those have gone down significantly. We have that same interface, and you'll see them at our booth and throughout the presentation. It's consistent throughout. These tiles that you see here, it's going to be consistent whether it's one of our touch panels, no matter what orientation, no matter what size, whether it's your mobile app. It's all going to be consistent, so you have that same consistent experience throughout. And again, that's available on our touch screens and also on any of your mobile devices. So when we're talking about luxury technology, what are some of the luxuries that your clients are looking for? What is being integrated? So again, we have the lighting, your shades, your climate, your audio, and your video. And again, we address all of that. We engineer, we manufacture, and support all of those different subsystems here. I'm not going to bore you with what these systems are. You're all very aware of that. But just what sets us apart. So our lighting controls, we have a lifetime warranty on our lighting controls. And those lighting controls can be tied into an astronomical clock that is readily there on your processor. So what this means is, those sunrise, sunset features that your clients really like to enjoy, those are automatically updated within the system. You don't need an integrator to come out every quarter to address the seasonal changes and such. So that's already integrated into there. Wired and wireless solutions for your centralized lighting. We can support all different kinds of lighting loads there. Free LED fixture compatibility testing. So if you're working with a lighting designer, they really want to integrate a really decorative fixture, we can test that right in our facility in New Jersey and give you the confidence to specify that, knowing exactly how that's going to interact with your system. We are also introducing our new tunable LED fixtures. Those are coming out next year. We just debuted them last week. When you're talking about especially luxury technologies, as I said, you're going to hear the terms human-centric lighting, circadian lighting. We're able to address that. We've always been able to address that with custom programming, but on Crestron Home with our own fixtures, we're able to address that natively within the space. And you'll see, as intricate as lighting can be, we still kept it as simple as possible. So you, your homeowner, everyone that uses this system is going to have that same simplified experience there. Our shades, so we do manufacture our own shades, our shade motors, lifetime warranty on shades as well. We have all the different varieties of shades that your clients would want in the luxury setting, your roller shades. We have single and dual roller brackets. We also go into the Hartman and Forbes, those hand-woven fabrics. They really love those. Your sheers, Roman, and your drapery tracks, we have all of those within our purvey as well. We have over 450 fabrics to choose from, quiet brushless motors, so it's completely noiseless, all different mounting options. And one feature that we have that's really great in the building community is our manual to motorized option. So perhaps your client, they're not sure if they want motorized shades throughout the space. We can install a manual shade, pre-wire for connectivity there later on. And day 2, we can come back in and install that motor there simply by removing that manual clutch and inserting that motor right into that same fabric tube and using the same hardware there. So that's a really big one. And again, we have the lifetime warranty on our motorized shades. HVAC control, a lot of different options here, but again, you can integrate it right onto that same platform. So the simplicity, that ease of use for your clients. And some of the health and wellness benefits really set us apart. We have an engineered partnership with Delos, and that's an air purity monitoring system. So for inside your house, we're able to integrate with them, and then we can remediate any air issues that are within the home, whether it's a push notification, hey, carbon monoxide is a little bit high, go open a window, or full on turn on that HVAC system because we need some heavy duty remediation here. Some of our sensors, these are especially great in the luxury space, being able to integrate those sensors really beautifully, wallpaper right over them, as you can see on the right, or paint right over them, so you can maintain that same aesthetic that they're trying to achieve without really marring the space with any additional technology or wall acne out there. Audio and video distribution, as you know, this takes your sources. This really, it remotely locates all of those sources into a head end. So outside of that space that your clients are really paying that premium for, that cost per square footage, they're really able to enjoy that instead of perhaps, sources on, a credenza that was really just created just for that, just to hide sources. We really take that away. And a lot of some of the luxury spaces that are larger, we're able to then, if there's a big game, perhaps a big event, a big concert, we want to showcase throughout the house simultaneously. We're able to do that, including your outdoor space. So those are some really great benefits of your audio and video being distributed there. Touchscreens, it doesn't matter if you have an $8,000 system, an $80,000 system. If it's not easy to use, it's worthless. So again, we made the Crestron Home platform as easy as possible to use, and it's going to be consistent whether you're looking at the on-wall touchscreens, the tabletop touchscreens. We do have these at our booth 407 for you to check out. You're going to get that same user experience throughout. And we have remote controls. I actually like to call these environmental controls because they do go a little bit further than just controlling your TV, your audio. You can actually control some of the scenes that you have, your lighting, and all of that right from the comfort of your couch. We have our Horizon keypads. These are really, really beautiful. They are very sleek against the wall. We have them in white, almond, and black. Again, you could see these at our booth. They're configurable, and we can actually expand them up to 4 gang, including any power receptacles that you need to add onto there. Again, in the luxury space, they have a very keen detail to design. So having that consistent from your keypads on the wall to the power receptacles, any outlets within the space, it's a really great option to be able to offer to your clients. Our Cameo keypads, we have 13 different metal finishes and 1 primed finish, so it really can fit into whichever aesthetic that your client wants to achieve. And if that is, if they still would like some different options out there, we do have engineering partnerships with a lot of these designer keypad partners. And again, with our chip integrated right into their system, so it does speak as if it was natively created and owned by Crestron. So these are some of our more decorative, our more designer series partners there. And that is all. I hope that you are enjoying your lunch. Please do follow us or come visit us at 407. This is actually a QR code if you'd like to download the Crestron Home app. If you're on an Apple device, you can actually enter a demo mode so you can see exactly what the interface looks like and how it interacts and all of that. And we'll also, again, have this at 407 so you can download it there and also play around with it on any one of the interfaces that we have. So I look forward to seeing you at 407 if I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting you. Thank you so much.
All right, I'll grab your clicker too. All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Crestron, again for sponsoring our event. I've got Dave Donald with me. You got get to know him over the next hour. Setting up this session, there we go. So this is called the Lux Tech Idea Book. And we had actually hoped to have it a little farther along. We launched something at A Ventures called the Builder Innovation, or Builder Innovators. It's a website that's going to have a lot of content that we're curating for all tracks here. The Tech Lux Idea Book is meant to be an inspirational resource to give you builders the confidence to talk about tech, use the examples that we have on the site to either present ideas. And why would you do that? Well, if you present ideas to the homeowner, this is all about referrals, right? You want to be more valuable to your homeowner. There's some cool things you can introduce. Maybe they lead to a bigger house. Maybe they lead to higher fees. So there's another, the financial incentive to do it. The third thing we hope that this resource does for you is when someone asks you a question, can I? How do I? If you had a resource that could say, yep, we got this, we'll get to it in due time. You still want to bring your partners in, right? But give you the confidence to have that conversation. So make more money, inspire your customers, and have confidence that there's some really cool things out there to do. So instead of listening to me drone on, which is probably the fifth session you probably have enough of, I have my friend Dave Donald up here with Wilson Electronics. Dave, say hello to the group.
My name is Dave Donald. I've been in the industry for about 40 years now, which scares me a little bit. I actually was on the original board of directors for CEDIA. When nobody could figure out what the entire integration of this technology into a home was going to be all about. We were all excited about the fact that we could mount a TV up in some type of cabinet and add some speakers to it at the time. So that was kind of the direction things went. And obviously now with the evolution of these technologies, it has become something completely different at this point. I mean, you walk around with a cell phone in your pocket. I don't know if you know this, but there is more processing power in that cell phone than existed on the planet Earth when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. So that gives you an idea of kind of the direction we're going. Still don't know how they've managed to get him up there and back again in 1969. But the fact is that we have moved in a direction that is absolutely overwhelming. But one of the challenges we run into, and you've heard it mentioned in every single one of these sessions, is making it simplistic and accessible to the homeowner who's going to be using this technology. And I think that's probably the most critical. The other thing is, it tends to be the most exciting thing that people see in a home. I've been in way too many model homes and gone through those walkthroughs on Street of Dreams, those kind of things. And it's astounding how people are walking through the home and they freeze at the home theater. And all of a sudden, they're in there for 40 minutes where everything else, they spent 3 minutes here and 2 minutes there. There is a driving force to that, and there's a reason behind that. I'll share this with you. It may be the most important thing I tell you all day. And that is people only buy one thing. Only one thing. I talk to salespeople around the world, sometimes in groups as many as 5,000 people. And people only buy one thing, and most people don't know what that is. People buy how they imagine they will feel after they bought. That's what people buy. We spend a great deal of time selling people technical specifications and details of particular products. That's not what people buy. People buy how they imagine they're going to feel after they bought. If you are going to sell technology in the home, you've got to create an emotional experience for that to happen.
Awesome. I'm glad we got Dave to come out of his shell.
Thank you very much. It was great being here. I appreciate it.
All right. So the Lux Tech Idea Book, when we publish this, there's going to be two elements to it. There's going to be what the tech does, how it looks in a home, that sort of thing. But also we want to focus also on some of the construction details. That'll be more of a behind-the-scenes thing for you, just to identify some of the construction details that go into an application. So this is an invisible speaker solution. I have another slide of this later. But it shows a little bit about walls open. They stretch fabric over it. There's some sound deadening materials in there, and the finished look is something that looks good and sounds great. So we broke this up in entertainment, outdoors, something I called specialty rooms and applications, and then technology and design. If you haven't seen it, there's a magazine called Technology Designer that has come out. It's really focused on builder, architect, designers, and it's really showing what technology should look like in the homes that you build. You're building high-end homes, they have interior designers. They don't want to see technology. They want the benefit of the technology, and they want it to look good. So we're going to start off with entertainment. So hiding TVs. How long have we been doing that?
Oh my goodness. There are a few things in the world that a housewife hates more than a big black rectangle on the wall. And so there have been all kinds of means of doing this, hiding it away into furniture, as you can see, elements like that. But oftentimes it's as simple as a screen that disappears into the ceiling or something that. But we've been doing that easily for the last 25 years.
So lots of ways to do it. There's ways to build it into cabinetry, picture frames, lights that go over the TV, or mirrors that go over the TV, or then there is that automation. So there's a few clips we have of TVs that hide into furniture. Here's actually one that comes out of the ceiling and drops down. It's sort of a fold-out job. There's sort of the framework of it. I had a friend in Los Altos Hills whose wife didn't want any TV downstairs. And so he talked to the integrator, and the integrator showed him a solution to have the thing go up into the ceiling. I think I have a video clip of it, actually, that clip. And to do that, he actually had to bump into the wife's closet and frame into the wife's closet. And she was concerned the whole time why she lost shoe space. And when she saw the TV come out of the ceiling, it was a pretty humorous thing. But they have the TV, it comes out of the ceiling. This is one, I think I've got, can I start this from here, guys, or do you have to click on it?
I bet they're willing to do so.
I didn't realize this was a video as well. So this is one that sort of folds into underneath the bed. Variety of sizes. It comes out, so it stores away nice and neat, comes out, provides a viewing angle on either side, facing the bed or facing away from the bed. It's a little like watching grass grow, but it is pretty cool.
Waiting in stunned silence.
So I think you get the sense. It'll actually come up, it'll pivot 180 so you can see it if you had an office space or a desk or a seating area behind it. Just a unique application of some TV technology. This is the house in Los Altos Hills. There was a pool table right below that chandelier to the right, and right above is their master closet that they had to sort of frame this in. And this gives a little cleaner ceiling look. TV comes down when you turn the source on, and then it'll pivot, not quite 180, but you can pivot depending on where you're hanging out in the room.
And Joe, I can tell you that there are situations like this, people walk through a home and they see something like this, and it's the one thing in the home they remember. I mean, seriously, they're looking at 4 or 5 different homes, and they come back and go, ooh, I love the one with the TV that came out of the ceiling. It's astounding to me because, once again, it has this emotional impact in them that you're just not prepared for.
Here's an application with a projector and a screen, all hidden away. Projector comes out of the ceiling, finished in the same wood. Screen comes out in a recessed pocket. You don't see anything when it's put away. Short throw projectors. So in a home theater, if you don't have a lot of space or you don't want to put the projector in the room, here's a way to have a back projection system where you don't have a lot of depth. You get a full big screen. There's also, so space-saving advantage here.
Oh, certainly.
And this is the front end of that room where they actually had a TV, so they had a multi-screen solution for that sports experience mounted on the door that lets you get back to the back of it. Here's another short throw. This I can't point to it now, but right underneath that screen, coming out of that piece of furniture, is another short throw projector. So you get a big widescreen effect from a very small space. This actually is an integrator's home in Los Altos, California, also coincidentally, and it's a fully automated home that the integrator puts on Airbnb. He's had 60 guests come through, and he's used that experience of these one-time users to perfect his user interfaces and how people live with the tech. This, again, is that sort of invisible speaker / sound deadening or sound enhancing technology in a space. Other sort of aesthetically designed sound solutions. So you've got a shared space with A living area, you got sound over here. This is from our partners at Bravis. This is actually a home in Las Vegas. This was built by Blue Heron. Most expensive home sold in Las Vegas. Savant technology in there. It's just a massive LED screen. This entire house opens up to the outside, all automated. Then you get to the outdoors tech, and outdoors got a lot of elements. And Dave, you know, outdoor music has been something you've been involved with for a long time, right?
Well, and it's just exploded because any place in the country where people are going to spend any time outdoors, anybody who's bought a home, perfect like this on the seashore, somebody who's bought a home and is very interested in being able to take that same experience that they have inside the house and take it outside of the house, it has become huge. And the manufacturers of these products, both the video products and audio products that are taking place, the quality of what is out there is far beyond a couple of speakers tucked up under the eaves at this point in time. Literally, you are having full outdoor theater experiences that didn't exist before, and now we have the technology to provide that.
So on the audio side, it's not two speakers in the house playing the whole yard, right? What's the benefit? What's a good design for outdoor speakers?
Well, the biggest advantage to outdoor audio is to be able to have as many speakers as possible playing at a lower level. Because putting two speakers on one side of the yard, and some of these yards are huge, and then trying to blast it across, there's a wonderful little property called the inverse square law that says every time you double the distance, you cut the sound volume down by 6 dB. So doing that, the people that are near the speakers can't talk, and the people that are on the other side of the yard can't hear the music whatsoever. So using multiple loudspeakers, especially in groups set up in listening areas throughout, you don't have to play it as loud. Everybody gets to hear the music, and the neighbors aren't complaining.
This was a house in Pasadena I was involved with years ago, that in that silver box on the left-hand side is actually the projection screen, and it actually extended up out of that silver box. At night, they would have neighbors, and there was all these seating areas that overlooked the, what's the bowl, the Sugar Bowl.
Oh,
Sugar Bowl?
No, Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl, sorry.
Pasadena, yes.
Thank you,
Exactly.
California boy.
That's right.
I was close enough. So cool use of technology, and they'd have bands there, and they put a little green room underneath it where the bands would use to change and set up and stuff. This was a new technology that was launched last week at CEDIA, and they have 3 screen sizes. This happens to be a 300-inch television screen, and if we can roll the video, you see how it actually operates. It's a folding screen that can actually retract into a pretty small area. So what you're seeing here, I didn't want to play the whole video, but that arm that's spinning came out, it sort of fell down to the right, and that little trap door came up. That arm comes up, and then this is what happens now with it. I think it's only about $300,000.
Practically giving it away.
Yeah, I'll take 2. They have an indoor version as well that will also retract into a very small space. The picture quality was just unbelievable.
So this is even bigger than my Samsung folding phone?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
See, first the phone, now you got these TVs.
That's right.
So very, very cool technology.
And that flexible screen technology is going to multiply into any number of things, as you and I were talking about beforehand. Literally, you'll be able to install these by rolling them out onto a surface. I mean, there will be an adhesive, and you'll literally roll the screen out onto a flat surface, and that'll be the entire installation.
I'm expecting it too for touchscreens, like just being able to have a film on the wall, really have it recessed, be proud.
Right.
And you know, there's interesting technology too. You could actually have the screen mirror the wall color or even a pattern of a wallpaper, and so the screen blends in until you need to use it. Here's an example of your speaker layout for outdoor audio.
That's what we were talking about, multiple speakers throughout the area instead of having to crank it up to some huge volume and being able to get that kind of coverage. And the fidelity is so much better at that point.
Yeah, and you know, these are typically the higher end, the satellites, and what do you put in the ground?
Subwoofers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The subwoofer is just screaming. All I have to do is dig a big pit and drop this thing into the ground with a little mushroom-like or some type of exposure that allows the sound to get out. And all of a sudden, you have full frequency response where it simply didn't exist in the past.
It really rounds out the music and makes an incredible experience. And it doesn't have to be loud. You know, it just gives you that low end, which is really cool.
Right.
Some technology we saw not too long ago. These are shades that will retract in the wind and they'll pivot based on the sun. So it'll always keep try to keep the one location that you need shaded. And an interesting safety/shade device for a hot tub that I thought was interesting that actually raises up automatically, and it's a very secure cover when it's down. So keep people out, keep them getting in, and provide a little shade on the side. So outdoor shades are an interesting aspect, particularly in areas with bugs. You know, it does two things. It can keep bugs out. It can also be a solar shade for the little space behind it. They're in tracks. They have a high wind rating. Outdoor space, and then you can also have the heat. There's interesting heat elements up in the ceiling there around that kitchen. Outdoor lighting. I don't know. Have you spent a lot of time with outdoor lighting?
First of all, once again, it has a dramatic emotional impact.
Yeah.
It was funny yesterday because they were talking about the fact that walking through models in homes, oftentimes people don't ever experience the lighting because you're walking through it in the middle of the day. And I thought it was very interesting, the fact that we now have these self-guided tours that people are taking in the home, and all of a sudden, those are all happening in the evening. So people are walking through and they're actually able to experience the ambiance that's created by lighting. It is just as powerful outdoors as it is indoors, there's no question.
Yeah, there was a company in Hawaii that had a tiki torch that was automated. So you had an actual flame out of the top, and you had a light source coming out of the bottom. So you had that natural flame for the natural warmth, in addition to the pathway lighting that would stream down. Healthy homes, green walls. This is a television sort of baked into the green wall. Healthy home tech we've talked about. There's lots of examples out there that are trying to connect the outdoors and the inside, automated watering, and even herb gardens and vegetable gardens that people are growing. So we're going to jump into some specialty rooms and applications. So, how many people have a bowling alley in their house? Not a lot, but it's actually a fun. it's a fun application, and you'd be surprised at how much it does get used. So I actually did a lot of study on some of the technology that went in the homes with homeowners back when it was with Nortec, and to try to value what they use. And these home spaces are great for families. Get the TV out of there, although the one is there. Get people doing things together. And
physical activity, and in this situation, you're talking about not only a bowling alley, but you're talking about custom lighting and sound in there as well.
Right.
Because it now becomes an entire entertainment room as opposed to just a bowling alley.
So this is from our friends at Crestron. This is a house in Florida, and that piece of art on the wall is digital, and it's an NFT art. So I am not exactly sure what's going to happen with NFT art. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's a very interesting either technology or scam, not quite sure. However, what this did was the artist created this sort of sea anemone type technology that was connected to a manometer outside. So as the wind changed, it would change the effect of, and of course they could change what was on there. So it was really more of an accent piece than an art piece, integrated to the control system as well.
Well, as I said before, one of the big challenges that housewives have is they don't want that big black rectangle on the wall. That's one of the things that we saw just recently from Samsung, for example, where not only are they doing the picture frame so that it actually looks like a piece of artwork, not like a video image that's on top, but it also has a rotating mount that now rotates the entire thing. So the aspect ratio, when it's not being used like a TV, actually looks like a beautiful painting that's on the wall.
Yeah.
And of course converts when it's ready to move into video mode.
Yeah, and they have subscription-based artwork that you can subscribe to.
Absolutely.
So other sort of specialty rooms, you've got your golf simulators, multi-purpose rooms, another view of a golf simulator that's sort of connected to a casual area in the house. In California, I don't know if elsewhere, but they're making garages and the cars and motorcycles you store in them more of a feature of the house. They actually will put these glass walls between the garage and the living area.
Exactly.
And if you've got a $500,000 car or more, why not treat it like art and bring it into the house? And here's some sort of integrated lifts, some fun spaces like that.
I was in a house in Las Vegas where this was being done, and the garage was 4 stories up.
Oh my God.
So you drove into the equivalent of an elevator, and then the car went up 4 stories next to his bedroom. So not only was he able to get out of his car and walk right into his bedroom, but as you mentioned, this beautiful glass wall that created this diorama of his car on the other side. So
yeah, excellent. Here's an example of that actually right now, where you have the car sort of going into the man cave / office. This is back to that house in Vegas, Vegas Modern. I think it was a $25 million house, packed with technology, packed with some really cool elements. The cigar room, the wine room, ventilation is a big thing there, obviously, the smoke eaters. You can really do an amazing job of keeping the rooms not smelling stinky and having a cool place to congregate.
just enough aroma left over to remind you that it's a cigar room, but you're not gagging at the same time. So
Yeah.
that's the idea.
Wine storage. Some cool ways to feature your wine collection. There's automation in the motorized shelves and storage systems. There's also technology that integrates with, I think, a few of the control platforms that helps you manage your inventory. So I've done a lot of work in the smart integrated power systems, and this is something that's actually evolving quickly, where you have smart panels, circuit breaker panels, that are conducting what gets power when. This is not as glamorous as it is adding resiliency to the home.
Right.
You've got the cars now eventually that are going to be a backup power source to the house. And a lot of technology has to be leveraged to make all that work. And it's going to be an intersection between the electrical contractors and the low voltage guys for the smarts of it.
And there's no question that in these type of applications, what the person is buying is a substantial amount of peace of mind, because of the fact that all these things are going to be handled automatically, and they just don't have to worry about it once the system's been installed. And it's going to be advantageous. I mean, it's amazing because you have somebody that builds a $10 million house and then they want to save money on electricity. But
Yeah.
that's the way the brain works, so that's how people are dealing with it.
I think it's when you look at the Ford F-150, it has an 80 amp charger. Now, most of these homes, they have 400 or 600 amp service. Okay, well, what happens when you get the second EV or the third EV?
Exactly.
At some point, you're not going to be able to charge those cars at their max capacity. So you're going to need something to dictate, send available power to it, let's say during the day when you're running other things, and then you increase the amount of amperage that gets sent to it at night, so that you make sure you got a fully charged car in the morning. So those are things that are coming down the pike as well. Solar. Solar panels aren't pretty. There's a bunch of technology coming to the table that makes solar power prettier, from the Tesla tiles to other ways to aggregate the photovoltaic energy and not have it look as unattractive. These are panels that actually look like roof shingles. They degrade the capacity or the volume of electricity they can collect a little bit,
Right.
but they do add some nice aesthetics.
And please, you're absolutely right. I live right here in Arizona, and there is solar on every other house as you go down the street. And there's no question, when you move into a luxury neighborhood, that having those big, beautiful panels up on the ceiling or up on the roof are absolutely untenable. You'd like to avoid those at all times. So making a slight sacrifice in efficiency to be able to get something much more attractive makes a big difference.
Yeah. Yep, sorry.
We need to go the other way.
Thank you. Another example of glass railings, that those little black squares are actually collecting sunlight and turning it into energy as well. Other examples of roofs and windows, if you're facing the right way and you have the right angle, it's a design / utility element. This was an interesting product that I saw at the Builder Show this year. These are they're gas fireplaces. When I say gas, they're the alcohol tanks, like you'd have for a burner on a boat or you go camping with. And they are allowed in areas like in California, you're being limited to gas hookups now. And so for outdoor entertaining or indoor, they give a little bit of warmth. They really give a pretty effect, and it's a very low environmental footprint that they're providing.
And that's become popular in areas like this,
Yeah.
where you've got a hot area anyway. You love the idea of having a fireplace, but there's nobody in the world that wants to turn an actual fireplace on in the middle of the summer here.
And a lot of them are ventless. There's a nominal fumes out there, and so it's cool technology. I think I doubled up that slide. All right, so we're going to shift into technology and design. This is where your interior designer, I know a lot of projects that I've been involved with that start with the interior designer, they have a big impact on what goes into the house. So there's technology to finish faceplates to match the wallpaper, match the stonework, the wood, or the paint color. Another product that I saw at the CEDIA show last week, I think they call it Liquid View. And this is clear glass. This was in the Leon booth. Did you get a chance to see that?
I did, yes.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool.
Very.
So it's clear glass, and it's a TV. And the company is curating images from around the world of nature scenes, of cities like Paris. What else did they talk about?
They were using any number of things.
Yeah.
The one that I really enjoyed was one that literally looked like a stream that was running through the forest on the outside. And you flip a switch, and it appears that that's what you're looking at out the window.
It's an amazing effect. And so you have these 3 windows, and they actually make the entire view that you're looking at look like you're going across those windows. So these are all walls that don't have windows, and this product was pretty impressive. Here's an example of the room before they had it on. Here's an example once they added the product. I mean, it's pretty powerful.
Completely changes the ambiance of the room.
Yeah, and I think they're going to go with some sort of subscription-based content on this.
No doubt.
Yeah, of course. Why not? Another thing to get you every month. Ways to accent or hide technology like speakers. I mean, we've been trying to paint speakers forever.
Yes.
What are the others way? You got
speakers are one of the technologies that absolutely, like a television screen, have to be present in the room. You can't put speakers, it's a transducer. It's got to move air into the room. And so the only way to do it, I mean, there are some that are now going behind drywall or a thin skim over the top and whatnot. And there's a lot of people using those because they're basically invisible. But using that type of product, you are limiting some of the performance characteristics. So if you really want high performance, you got to have the speaker in the room. And you're right, we have jumped through hoops to find ways to make them less and less apparent in the room. The important thing about this, and I think this is one of the focuses we were talking about before this session, is that the idea behind this is for you as a builder to be able to say yes. When a customer says, hey, I really want X, we want to make sure you've been exposed to everything that's available out there so that you can say, as a matter of fact, I know that's possible. And I've got an integrator that can make that happen. And loudspeakers is a perfect example of that. Yes, we can hide those away. We can paint them the color of the wood, or we can put the pattern over the top of them that you're already using on that wall or that ceiling. That part of it is real critical because, like I said, loudspeakers are one of those that have to be present in the room for them to function.
Right. And obviously, you have a long background in audio. Are the invisible speakers, are they getting better? I mean, we're
certainly getting better.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not, again, it's physics.
Yeah.
And we don't have the ability to be able to make those things absolutely disappear. And when you put them behind drywall, even in the speakers we're talking about now, it's a thin diaphragm, it goes inside the wall, and then the drywaller is responsible for a very thin coating of mud over the top so that you can now paint it and make it disappear. but you're making sacrifices again in physics in
Right.
order to be able to make that happen, because I've got to vibrate that. If I vibrate it too much, I'm going to tear the plaster or the mud right off the wall. So there are sacrifices being made in those situations. Now, one of the great benefits that's going on right now is more and more loudspeaker manufacturers producing very small output for mid and high frequencies that are coming out of the ceiling, and then hiding a subwoofer someplace else in the room to be able to take care of the lower frequencies.
Right.
And now you end up with that invisible experience, and you can still feel it hit you in the middle of the chest if that's what you're after.
Right.
Yeah, that's become popular.
So speaker location. That house in Vegas, they had an interesting design element where the ceilings had, they call them troughs, but all of the technology, lighting, smoke detectors, wireless access points, were kind of hidden up in this recess that had a really nice design element, and it solved a lot of the wall acne or ceiling acne and that reflective ceiling plan.
And ceilings are interesting because I've been, as you mentioned, I spent years working in that particular mindset, trying to get people to let us put speakers up in the ceiling. And typically it was, I mean, I'm not trying to be misogynistic, it's just that the women had more of a design eye than the men did. Men were more interested in performance and the women were more interested in the aesthetic, and we ran into that all the time. It's not always the case. But one of the things that I used to do was I would ask the woman who I was talking to look at my watch. And I would hold my watch out and I said, do this for me. If you just look at my watch and don't look away. No matter what happens, don't look away from my watch. And I'd like you to describe your ceiling to me right now. What's in your ceiling? And it was so much fun to watch her go, well, there's some can lights, and we've got that one chandelier that's over the table over there, and, well, I think that's about it. And then I'd have her look at the ceiling. And she'd go, oh my gosh, because there was ventilation up there, there were sprinklers up there, there were smoke detectors up there. Never paying any attention to it. And so oftentimes it would take just that, and I'm going to say, look, I'm going to put 4 of these in this room, and I really don't think it's going to make a difference. And after that example, she went, oh my gosh, you put something on the wall, and it sticks out instantaneously. But the majority of us don't look up, so it just doesn't have that effect.
Right. Some technology being presented that actually lets you recess things like wireless access points. Again,
Yes.
reflective ceiling plan, it hides it away. It's a simple rough-in with a can and a Cat 5 pull or 6 pull, and then a paintable surface on the top. This was some technology. It's actually dye sublimation technology, and you can print anything on a film, wrap it over a speaker grill, and what's interesting about this is that paint can clog the holes of these speaker grills. This technology didn't do it.
Right.
And there were some people playing with matching wood grain, marble on a backsplash, or either paint color or wallpaper repeating the pattern. And if you put the wallpaper on it, there's a durability impact. This actually had a really long life and stood up to a lot of terror.
A lot of that has been born out of what's going on inside of custom automobiles, where they're trying to figure out how to aesthetically make it pleasing inside of a custom automobile. But a custom automobile has got extreme heat on the inside. You've got vibration. It's a violent environment. And so this stuff turned out to be incredibly durable when you put it on a speaker and then put it in a ceiling or in a wall.
Cool. Again, things like security cameras that can be recessed, and you still need, if you have a dome camera, you're going to have that protrude, but you do have a lot less material showing. It's prettier, it's less intrusive. Other examples of these are flush mount kits that let your keypads, outlets, and even your speakers be absolutely flush to the surface. On the speaker side, the speaker comes mounted in a piece of sheetrock, and that sheetrock is installed on the ceiling, butted up with other sheetrock. They tape over it, and you've got a beautiful finish with just the grill is flush to the ceiling. It's a nice, elegant
Absolutely, and this is one of those things that came out of those discussions with interior designers who said, I just want it to go away.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And then in New England, where I come from, there's colonial homes, and often the modern look of the keypads don't necessarily fit. So to recreate the old toggles, push buttons, there's companies that come out with these beautiful materials and sort of period controls. Well, behind it has electronics to work with a control system.
Right.
Really cool stuff. And then
Making new stuff look old. Is that what you're saying?
making new stuff look old. Flush mounting touchscreens, keypads flush mounted. You know about this. This is a Leon product?
Absolutely, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So talk about who's the artist here?
I can't tell you the name. I don't know.
But this is that piece slide over the speaker part, or is that the way that sets up? So this is
I don't know that one specifically.
Yeah, this is so companies that will actually have artists do artwork that will cover up on-wall speakers or subwoofers. I think this was just showing a recessed speaker in the ceiling. You can hardly see the speaker. Nice, elegant. Another new product at CEDIA last week from actually Hunter Douglas, and they showed it for the first time in a room. And the product is a decorative sheer shade that behaves like the other shades you've seen here. Behind it is a second tube and a second motor that lowers a film. And the film is white to the outside, like you'd see in a normal room darkening shade. And it's silver to the inside. So when you drop your sheer, you have the outdoor light coming in. When you drop that film behind it, it'll act like a room darkening agent. And then they have a tunable white, fully tunable white light that shines down between the shade and the film, and it lights up the shade. And you can tune it, you can do the circadian rhythm. I have a short video, if you can jump to that shows it. It was literally launched last week. I think it's gonna come out in the spring. This might be the full video. Can you jump forward to about 40 seconds? Maybe not.
No, you cannot.
All right, bear with it. So the room was, it had a ceiling, it had 4 walls, it had 4 walls of shades, and it had a very well orchestrated demo. It's a little long, but let's get to it where they start lighting up the shades.
One of the things about this that was interesting, and I heard someone talk about it in the booth because I went over to see this, somebody had mentioned it, and we were talking about it, and they had used it in a room that had no windows whatsoever, and they dropped the shade and the light, and it instantly created this effect of, oh, that's the outdoors, I'm just not exposed to it right now.
Yeah.
It's very cool for a completely enclosed room, but.
The System 7 showroom that we saw today, they actually have a display where they have a light panel that is used to create a window experience, tunable white light with, they can also make skylights in spaces that don't have any. So the lights go off, and there's someone narrating all this, and they'll turn the lights on in a moment, but you'll see the effect. So remember in the lighting presentation, they were saying that you can wall wash with light, and when you bounce the light off the wall, it gives that ambient lighting. This lights up that room in a really nice way without having any glaring light, so it was another nice effect of that.
Yeah, that's beautifully done.
Yeah. All right, we can go back to the PowerPoint. All right, Liz. All right. Ways to connect the indoors and the outdoors. I think we doubled up on that one. Mm-hmm. Work from home. We talk about this. John has a big say on this, and I don't think we do enough to really make these rooms the studios they are. But there are some commercial products. This is one from Logitech, and this isn't a family room, so it's not necessarily just work from home. It's a way to do the Zoom calls with the family itself. Enhanced audio, microphone arrays to pick up the audio.
Right.
There was Clear One had a boardroom product there that they're trying to get into residential, where it goes in the ceiling and it has that mic array, and you can walk around and pace like I do when I'm on the phone and have quality audio throughout the space. This was a house I was involved with in also Los Altos, coincidentally, And an architect built this for her family and used it as a show house for clients. And that glass wall opened. And it was the only time that a commercial airline hangar piston system, that red piston, actually went up to the roof and went out to the front, anchored in the front. And that entire wall opened flat. And one of the things they had is there was a pool. There's a lap pool in that downstairs. They weren't allowed to put a pool outside to local code. So by opening that glass door, the outdoor comes in, you got the pool, there's a hot tub just on the outside, and the husband was a Star Trek fan, so they made that little homage to Star Trek for the dining room.
Very kind of them. Yes, thank you very much.
This was an interesting storage hiding or appliance hiding aspect. All of your countertop stuff can go behind this glass wall. It was motion activated. I thought that was a pretty cool piece of home tech. These are homemade videos, so forgive the poor quality of them. This is a picture of the outdoors with the glass door opening and open, all connected to the control system. Another shot of that backsplash. That's the dining area with the door open. Air piston elevator, like you see when you drop your money into the bank.
Just like the one in my house. Yes, exactly.
And then this was an interesting. This had an interesting stove. I don't think this is actually in, but behind it was a spice rack, and the knives came up out of the counter. And so really clean, because it was a big open area, so having clutter was the big thing they tried to do. So they had that backsplash and that sunken. And we're going to close with a couple bloopers. How many have you seen in your day?
No. All this stuff goes flawlessly.
Yeah. So here's here's a great lighting design. Obviously, they added more loads than they needed to. This is a great picture to use, to show the difference of what one keypad looks like versus 8 or 9 wall switches.
Well, I always like taping off a switch that you're not going to use. I think that's a very effective and aesthetic look on the wall. Yes.
This was running out of space for your TV, not having a good pre-plan on that. Your AV room wasn't quite cool enough, keeping all your electronics cool. Creative way.
There you go. Yeah. Mounting systems meant for the gods. Thank you very much.
Creative way to hang your projector. This was a Halloween party. Put a touchscreen, and that was my pumpkin entry in a Halloween contest once.
Perfect.
Not having quite long enough screws to hold the TV into the wall.
Yes. That's a great sound, by the way. The sound of a TV coming off the wall and landing perfectly face down, knowing that it was completely destroyed. So.
Well, that's the end of our presentation. I appreciate you letting us hopefully give you some things that you can show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and David, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Go see Wilson Electronics. They've got some really cool cell boosters for mobile and home applications. So he's downstairs there if you
if you've got any multi-million-dollar clients who are still making phone calls from their driveway, we'd love to solve that for you.
All right, guys, thanks for putting up with us. Look forward to seeing you at the next event. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Appreciate it.